Right now, as you hear this sentence, your liver performs a miracle. 500 biochemical reactions every second, filtering toxins, manufacturing proteins, storing energy, regulating hormones. It's the body's most sophisticated chemical factory, working 24/7 without a single complaint. But here's what makes this organ terrifying. It can't scream for help. Your heart sends crushing chest pain during a crisis. Your lungs make you gasp when they're failing. But your liver? It suffers in complete silence. No pain receptors, no warning signals. Half of it could be dying right now, and you'd feel absolutely nothing. If you've ever wondered what happens when you stop drinking alcohol for 30 days, here's the day-by-day transformation. The cellular repair, the hormonal reset, and the one permanent change that happens if you wait too long. Most people think the liver either heals instantly or stays damaged forever. The truth? Your body follows a specific timeline that most people quit before completing. Some changes in hours, some in weeks. Here's what's really happening at each stage. The moment alcohol touches your lips, your liver doesn't recognize a relaxing drink. It recognizes an urgent threat that must be neutralized immediately. But what most people don't realize is that alcohol triggers not one, but two waves of destruction. What's the second wave that determines whether you develop permanent damage? Alcohol breaks down in stages. First, an enzyme called alcohol dehydrogenase attacks ethanol molecules, converting them into acetaldehyde, and acetaldehyde isn't just toxic, it's a World Health Organization classified carcinogen, as dangerous as asbestos. This molecule tears through your DNA, scrambling genetic code inside liver cells like a digital virus corrupting files. But while your liver desperately processes this poison, something even more dangerous happens underneath. A metabolic shift that explains why some drinkers develop fatty liver while others don't. A 2018 Lancet study analyzing data from 195 countries shattered every myth about safe drinking. The conclusion? There is no safe level of alcohol consumption for overall health. Not a glass of wine, not a weekend beer. Zero. Why such a harsh verdict? Because even a single drink triggers what researchers call metabolic pause. The instant alcohol enters your bloodstream, fat oxidation drops by 73%. The process where your liver burns stored fat. Your liver, normally a fat-burning furnace, shuts down for hours just to deal with the alcohol. It's like forcing emergency room doctors to stop treating patients just to mop the floor. And if you drink regularly, that pause becomes permanent. Fat accumulates, inflammation sets in, the organ protecting you begins drowning in its own dysfunction. So when you quit alcohol for 30 days, you're giving your liver the first real break it's had in years. But here's what nobody warns you about. The first week doesn't feel like healing, it feels like punishment. Why does stopping feel worse than continuing? Before we continue, if you've been enjoying this video so far, leave a comment with 1, so I know this content is valuable to you, so we can keep creating meaningful videos you won't want to miss. Now that you understand what alcohol does, here's what happens the moment you stop. The clock starts the moment your last drink leaves your system. Within 24 hours, your liver shifts into emergency mode. But before any healing begins, it must complete a critical cleanup operation, one that determines whether you sail through withdrawal or suffer intensely. What makes the difference? Acetaldehyde, that toxic byproduct, doesn't disappear instantly. It lingers like chemical residue, continuing to damage cells even after the alcohol is gone. Therefore, your liver's detoxification pathways go into overdrive. But this creates a problem. The enzymes needed for detox are the same ones needed for normal metabolism, so your body must choose between cleaning up poison and maintaining basic functions. Specialized immune cells called Kupffer cells, stationed throughout your liver like security guards, begin reducing their inflammatory response. The swelling starts subsiding. But here's where most people's understanding of liver health completely misses a critical connection. Your liver doesn't operate in isolation. There's a second organ involved that determines whether your liver heals quickly or struggles for weeks. What is it? And why does nobody talk about this connection? Your gut. Scientists call it the gut-liver axis, and it's one of the most critical relationships in your entire body. Every drop of blood leaving your intestines flows directly to your liver through the portal vein. It's a direct highway carrying nutrients, but also threats, straight to your liver's doorstep. When you drink regularly, alcohol acts like a chemical solvent on your intestinal lining. It dissolves protective mucus. It loosens tight junctions between cells. These junctions normally act as security checkpoints, but alcohol forces them open, creating gaps. This is leaky gut. Through those gaps, bacteria, toxins, and partially digested food particles escape into your bloodstream. Your liver, already overwhelmed processing alcohol, now faces a bacterial invasion. Therefore, it must fight on two fronts simultaneously. But this dual assault creates a vicious cycle that accelerates liver damage far beyond what alcohol alone could cause. Research from Rush University Medical Center discovered something remarkable about recovery timing. Within 24 to 48 hours of your last drink, those intestinal tight junctions begin closing. The barrier starts repairing itself. As the gut heals, the flood of bacterial toxins reaching your liver slows to a trickle. Suddenly, your liver's workload drops by half. That's when the physical symptoms shift. The constant bloating eases. The brain fog begins lifting. There's another change happening simultaneously that explains a symptom most people experience but don't understand. Why do your hands shake and sugar cravings spike when you quit drinking? This is where it gets critical. Alcohol hijacks your liver's glucose storage system. When you drink regularly, your liver struggles to store glucose as glycogen. That's why people wake up shaky, irritable, craving sweets. Their blood sugar crashes because the liver can't maintain stable levels. By day 3 without alcohol, your liver reclaims glucose control. The tremors stop, the desperate sugar cravings fade, your energy stabilizes throughout the day instead of spiking and crashing. This is the foundation phase. The first 72 hours aren't about dramatic healing, they're about stopping the bleeding and stabilizing the patient. Your body is preparing for real transformation, but that transformation comes with an unexpected price. You've seen what happens in the first 72 hours, but by the end of week 1, something paradoxical unfolds. By the end of week 1, something paradoxical happens. Your liver is healing, your gut is repairing, yet you feel worse than when you were drinking. Anxious, restless, angry for no clear reason. This isn't weakness or lack of willpower, this is your brain paying the chemical debt it accumulated over months or years. But why does sobriety feel like torture when it should feel like relief? The answer lies in neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers running your brain, and alcohol has been manipulating them far longer than you realize. When you drink, alcohol floods your brain with GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid. GABA is your brain's brake pedal. It slows neural firing, creating that relaxed feeling people chase. Simultaneously, alcohol suppresses glutamate, your brain's accelerator pedal. Glutamate drives alertness and energy. Your brain adapted to this artificial balance. It produces less natural GABA and cranks up glutamate receptors to compensate. But now the alcohol is gone, and your brain is stuck in compensatory mode. You have too much glutamate firing with too little GABA to calm it. The result? A neurological storm. Your nervous system is overexcited, hyperactive, vibrating at a frequency it shouldn't maintain. That's why anxiety spikes during week 1. Your heart races for no reason. Your thoughts spiral into worst-case scenarios. You feel jittery, on edge, unable to relax. It's your brain literally operating at too high a frequency, and it takes days to recalibrate. Then there's sleep, or rather, the vivid, disturbing chaos that replaces normal rest. But these intense dreams aren't random. They're serving a critical repair function most people never understand. Alcohol destroys REM sleep, the stage where your brain processes emotions and consolidates memories. When you quit, your brain experiences REM rebound. It's starving for the deep sleep it's been denied for months or years. You wake from dreams so vivid they feel like alternate realities. Some people report nightmares so intense they consider drinking again just to make them stop. But this isn't mental breakdown, it's mental repair. Your brain is rewiring neural connections, catching up on months of incomplete maintenance. There's another layer to week 1 exhaustion that most people miss entirely, something that explains why you feel drained even though you're just not drinking. What's the hidden energy thief? Nutritional depletion. The National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism published research showing chronic alcohol consumption severely damages your intestine's ability to absorb vitamins. Specifically, thiamine, vitamin B1, which converts food into cellular energy. Alcohol also blocks B12, folate, and zinc absorption. So week 1 feels draining because your liver wants to heal, but it's operating with a depleted toolkit. The enzymes it needs are starving for raw materials. But the moment you start eating real food again, your gut begins absorbing vitamins like a dry sponge finally getting water. Your liver, flooded with fresh supplies, kicks into higher gear. By week 1's end, the neurological storm passes. The worst is over. And, deep inside your liver, something extraordinary is beginning that most people think is impossible after years of damage. Can fat-clogged liver cells actually reverse themselves? Now that you've survived the first week, here's where the real transformation begins. By week 2, your liver begins one of the most remarkable acts of self-repair in all of medicine. It starts releasing the fat that's been suffocating its cells. But here's what challenges everything most doctors used to believe about liver damage. Most people who drink regularly, even moderately, develop alcoholic fatty liver disease. There are no symptoms, no warning signs, but under a microscope, liver cells look swollen, bloated with fat droplets that crowd out healthy tissue. This happens because alcohol hijacks normal fat metabolism. Instead of burning fat for energy or packaging it for transport, the liver hoards it. Fat accumulates inside hepatocytes, the main liver cells, turning the organ pale and enlarged. You'd think years of fat accumulation would be permanent. The opposite is true. A University College London study followed dry January participants who quit alcohol for 1 month. The results shocked researchers. On average, participants reduced liver fat content by 15 to 20% in just 30 days. Think about that. In less time than it takes to build a new habit, your liver sheds a significant portion of the fat that's been choking it for years. As fat melts away, the liver softens. It regains its deep red color, indicating healthy blood flow returning. Cells, no longer packed with fat, start functioning with renewed efficiency. Sluggish enzymes become responsive again, but the benefits extend beyond the liver itself. There's a hormonal shift happening that particularly affects men and explains physical changes most people notice but can't explain. What's changing? Alcohol stimulates an enzyme called aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen. This is why men who drink heavily develop beer belly, and even breast tissue. Their bodies are being chemically feminized by excess estrogen. Research in alcoholism, clinical and experimental research showed that after just 2 weeks alcohol-free, the liver begins filtering excess estrogen more effectively. Testosterone levels, suppressed for months or years, start recovering. The result? Men notice increased muscle tone, reduced belly fat, even mood and energy shifts. It's not dramatic overnight, but the trajectory has changed. The body is remembering what hormonal balance feels like. Your liver, once a fat storage unit, is becoming a powerhouse again. But there's an even deeper transformation happening that you can't see or measure. What's changing at the genetic level that determines how fast you age? You've seen the physical changes in week 2. But by week 3, something shifts in how you experience reality itself. By week 3, something shifts in your perception of reality. Colors seem more vivid, music sounds richer. Small pleasures, morning coffee, a walk outside, suddenly feel meaningful again. This isn't imagination or positive thinking, this is your dopamine system coming back online. But why did everything feel so flat for so long? Dr. Nora Volkov, director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse, spent decades studying alcohol's effect on brain reward circuitry. Her neuroimaging research revealed something profound. Chronic alcohol blunts dopamine receptors, the switches in your brain registering pleasure and motivation. When those receptors are dulled, life feels grey. Nothing excites you, you need alcohol just to feel normal. And even then, the pleasure is artificial and fleeting. But by week 3, alcohol-free, those receptors begin regenerating, your brain produces dopamine, naturally again, responding to real experiences instead of chemical shortcuts. You rediscover the natural high, the ability to feel genuine joy from everyday moments. Brain fog that plagued you for months lifts. Thoughts sharpen, memory improves. This isn't willpower, this is biology rewiring itself at the cellular level. Physical changes become visible too. Blood pressure drops as stress on the liver's portal vein decreases. Skin becomes clearer, more radiant. The whites of your eyes brighten as your liver filters bilirubin more efficiently. But perhaps the most fascinating discovery comes from cutting-edge genetic research that reveals alcohol's hidden cost. What is it doing to your DNA that determines how fast you age? This is where most people's understanding completely falls apart. A 2022 Oxford Population Health study examined how alcohol affects telomeres, the protective caps on chromosome ends. Think of telomeres like plastic tips on shoelaces. Every time cells divide, these caps shorten slightly. When they become too short, cells can't divide properly. That's aging at the molecular level. The study found alcohol accelerates telomere shortening. In other words, drinking literally ages you at the DNA level. Your biological age becomes older than your chronological age. The breakthrough? When you quit, the damage slows dramatically. You can't reverse time, but you can stop accelerating it. By giving up alcohol, you're not just healing your liver, you're protecting your genetic future. Your body, at the deepest cellular level, is learning to age more gracefully. But how do you support this transformation and ensure it lasts beyond 30 days? Science offers surprising allies most people never consider. Now that you understand the 3-week transformation, here's how to accelerate and protect these gains. You've made it 30 days. Your liver has transformed. But certain foods and compounds can accelerate healing and protect against relapse damage. What does research show actually works? First, black coffee. Studies show compounds in coffee, particularly Kowel and cafestol, actively protect liver cells and reduce cirrhosis risk. 2 to 3 cups daily isn't just safe, it's therapeutic for liver health. Next, cruciferous vegetables. Broccoli, cauliflower, kale. These contain sulforaphane, a molecule activating phase 2 detoxification enzymes in your liver. It's like turning on your liver's built-in cleaning crew. Finally, fermented foods, kombucha, sauerkraut, yogurt. Remember the gut-liver axis? These foods restore beneficial bacteria in your intestines, strengthening the barrier protecting your liver from bacterial toxins. But beyond supplements and strategies, there's a deeper biological truth most people don't know about the liver. What makes it unique among all your organs? Your liver is the only organ capable of complete regeneration, cut away 70% surgically, and within months it grows back to full size. It's an act of biological forgiveness, a second chance coded into your DNA. But that forgiveness has limits. Once cirrhosis sets in, once scar tissue replaces healthy cells, there's no going back. The liver loses its regenerative power. That's the point of no return. So the question isn't whether your liver can heal, the question is whether you'll give it time before permanent damage takes hold. These 30 days proved something vital. Your body isn't broken, it's resilient, it's been waiting for you to stop the assault so it could begin rebuilding. And it did, faster and more completely than you probably imagined. The liver doesn't hold grudges, it doesn't punish you for past mistakes, it simply asks for rest, clean fuel, and time. In return, it offers energy, clarity, and years added back to your life. So if you've been thinking about this challenge, don't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. Before the silence of your liver turns into a scream you can't ignore, your liver has been protecting you in silence, now it's your turn to protect it.